What it is, everybody? Thanks for tuning back in here to another episode here on the Speedbug channel. Today we got a day that I know a lot of you all have actually been waiting for. It's also a day that I've actually been waiting to talk about with y'all. So, flip the camera around. Y'all see my R1M? Y'all see the bad girl? Y'all see the Ducati V4 right here? And y'all see my real baby right there, BMW. Now, and don't forget about my other baby over there, you know, because we got the Jigster over there in the corner that's chilling right there. I was riding her earlier this week. But anyway, this video is talk about the comparison between this weapon, track weapon, and this track weapon, and which one's better. Now, a lot of you guys know I hate the brand Yamaha, and I've always talked a lot of shit about it too in all of my videos. Flip this around. So you gotta kind of ask, why did I buy it? Why did I convert over to the dark side? What did Yamaha do? Did they give me this bike? Did they sponsor this bike? Or no. I bought this bike my damn self. Just as I bought all of these bikes myself, okay? But you've known I've had this for sale for a while, but I'm not gonna give it away. And I've had some hits on it for the ones that are wondering, but nothing serious enough for it to make me consider it. I'm not going to sell it for $12,000. I'll keep it for that price. I'll put it in my living room. It looks better. But anyway, long story short, why did I buy another track weapon, meaning the R1M, if I don't even like to ride my V4? Well, I really wanted it to be a little bit different, and that's part of the reason I actually bought the V4 to begin with. So I decided to look out into other adventurous bikes and stuff like that, because the Suzuki isn't good on the track. Yes, it's good just like the BMW, but it's not R1M good, and it's not Ducati good on the track. Those bikes are typically designed for the circuit tracks, and they dominate on the racetracks. And even when you see other people on YouTube, whether they're small individuals or stars and such like that, you'll see the comparison between the bikes. So when they're on a, so like, let's say, for example, they'll race a car. Is this car, whatever car it may be, or an F1, a Lamborghini, whatever it is, you'll see the comparison on a tight circuit track. And they're going to, first two bikes they're going to grab an R1M, or they're going to grab a Ducati, whether it be a V4 or a 1299, whatever it be, if it's a tight circuit track. But when you want to go fast and long in a straight line, there's two or three bikes that they always grab, and usually there's one that's always on top. It's always usually a Ninja or a Jigster, but then usually one on top, it's always the BMW and such like that. And that bike is obviously much faster in a straight line than the R1M and Ducati. No knocks, and I'm not knocking anything about them, but those bikes are designed and set up to go around the circuit tracks a little bit better than the other bikes. But again, you all heard me talk about what I don't like so much about the Ducati, and I'm not going to sit here and go and elaborate on all those things like that, but I'll tell you some of the things for the ones that are new to the channel. The bike is super uncomfortable. It's a race bike first. It's everything a race bike first, and then a street bike. This is damn near a race bike that has lights on it. The riding position is horrible. The comfort is horrible. Everything about it is horrible as you ride it on the street. But when you're tucked down and you're dragging a knee or doing 150 and going around a turn like that, the bike is absolutely awesome, and it's great. And that's why it sucks on the street, and that's why it's so great as a race bike. Now, after riding the R1M, the weight between the Ducati and the R1M, they're very similar. You could definitely tell that the R1 is fatter by the tank size and the seat, and I could show you guys, and hopefully this will show up a little bit on camera. You can see the big difference in the tank size and such, where you sit your gooch here, and then where we go and sit your gooch on this one right here. It's definitely much thinner. And I don't know, maybe the Italians are skinnier than the Japanese. Who the hell knows? Whatever. But that's just what they wanted to do. However, I will say I do like the way this bike feels a little bit more, because it's smoother, but it's definitely not like BMW or Suzuki smooth because of the cross-plane, flat-plane crank that's in this thing. Now, this is still a 4-cylinder, and which is the main reason I also bought this bike, because it was a 4-cylinder. It's smoother than the 959 in the corner, but it's not like that type of smooth, and that's fine. And neither is this one. But riding on the street, where I'm going to primarily ride this bike a lot, And I personally like this bike more. And I can't believe I actually am saying that I actually like this bike more. The electronics are great. The Series 2, the adjustable, all the adjustments that you can make on the street, on the fly. The menu is great. The heads-up display is great. And for the ones that haven't seen it, I could show you. I mean, it's pretty badass. You know, obviously it's in night mode because we're inside the garage. But as it goes into the daytime mode, the background becomes white, and obviously all the lettering becomes black. I could tell you this, the V4 definitely even made more power in stock trim. You saw on my dyno sheets and such like that, this bike put down 205 or 206, and then after flash, ECU, and my mods and stuff like that, this bike put down, what was it, 193 or 194, something like that, which is fine, because I don't have to have it be the fastest, you know, have the highest horsepower. That's not what this is about. This is about comfort, and when I want to get down and dirty and go around some turns and stuff like that, I can. Now, obviously, you can't tell by the tires or anything right now because the bike only has 200 miles. I haven't had it that long. But don't worry, we'll get there in time. We'll go down and we're going to have some fun. But the main reason I wanted to pick this bike is because I wanted to have a track-focused motorcycle. More track-focused than my 959 Jigster 1000 and S1000 over there in the corner. Because I still plan to sell my Ducati V4 because I just don't care for it. I just don't ride it or anything like that. And when the right buyer comes along, then I'll sell it. But until then, I'm going to hang on to it. But I wanted to have a track-focused motorcycle and more of an inline form motorcycle rather than a V-twin, excuse me, not a V-twin, a V-formation motorcycle. Now, I don't mind V-formation motorcycles, just not in crotch rocket form. And I'll never have that in a crotch rocket, again, meaning a V formation. I just don't care for it. I think the inline is better. That's my opinion. For the ones that disagree, whatever, I don't care. This is my channel. You don't like it, get off of it. But anyway, that's just my opinion. And I really like the other Yamahas, and something I will touch on about this. Yamaha has always made a very aesthetically appeasing bike, and I'll say that just from Jump Street, because their bike is awesome. The bike looks great. It looks futuristic. They've always looked badass, even when they had like the 07s and the 08s with the shark face. They just looked awesome. A lot of my friends had them. I rode them. I never cared for them at all. But then I've always been a Suzuki guy at heart, and I still am. Riding them, they were all right. They just still never did it for me. But then when this bike came out in 15, when I was going to buy this bike or the S1000, well, it had some quick shifters, it had some suspension stuff, but it wasn't everything that the BMW had to offer at the time. And the BMW, of course, was more, but you did still get more for your money. Now, coming from my Hayabusa, which is what I traded for my BMW, this just took the cake for it. And as years progressed and stuff, I waited to see if the quick shifter, if the electronics and all that jazz was going to be upgraded and stuff like that. And I went to go sit on them and look at them, and the bike still just didn't do it for me. Fast forwarding a couple years now, we're paying attention. They're starting to really get into the upgrades and the upgrades that the bike needs. Got a nice little facelift, little color scheme, stuff like that. And then I'm like, I can start to picture and do some of the things that I wanted to do to this bike. And then when 18 came out and they announced finally auto blip up and down, Gen 2 suspension, and a few other things that are going along with it, I said, well, this bike, and now it's finally got, you can kind of almost say what the BMW had a few years ago, but now this is Gen 2 Owen suspension. That's Gen 1 on the BMW. This suspension obviously is a little bit better at the moment. But I love the 6-axis controller and stuff like that. The Ducati does have it, but I still think Yamaha has it dialed in a little bit better. Now, one thing that I will say, going around a turn, because I have gone around a few turns on some on-ramps on both of these bikes already. This bike here, the Yamaha, is definitely more flickable. It's easier to maneuver and lean and drop into the turn. But inside the turn, when you're hauling ass and going down the turn, this bike definitely is still more stable. What I'm saying is I feel that I could do 150 miles an hour through a turn much more stable on this bike than I still can this bike. And that would probably also advocate and stress why this bike is still probably the all-out better track weapon and is such a shittier street bike as opposed to the R1M. Ducati's heritage is like all about racing. That's just what they do, and that's like they're like dedicated track focused, and that's what they do. They don't give a shit about the street. They're like, how pretty can I look, and obviously how fast can I go around the track. Everything else is secondary. Jumping back over to the maintenance and other things like that, not that I've had a lot of problems with that particular Ducati, but given the fact I'm going back to a Japanese bike, I don't really care for, again, working on the Yamahas, which I have worked on them in the past. They kind of suck. I never really cared for all the electronics. I thought they kind of sucked. But working on this one, ripping it apart, seeing how things are, they've definitely come some ways. It's obviously no easy like to work on like a Suzuki or a Ninja, but they've definitely come a long ways, and I'm definitely more open to it. So as this bike was improved, and overall I've really started to take a like to it. I really like how you can nail on it in first gear, second gear, third gear, and it obviously takes some getting used to, but the 6-axis control and the pitch control, the lean control, it works all flawlessly, and it works great after obviously you get your modes dialed in for where it is that you want to ride your motorcycle. As far as the looks, like I said, it's on point. It looks great. I really do love the carbon fiber look. It was definitely something different, just as different as pretty as this red Ferrari is that's sitting over here with that gorgeous face. I mean, you just still can't get over that gorgeous face that this bike has. Just as you can't get over all the beautiful carbon fiber that your R1 has over here. Now, it kind of feels like I'm doing some comparisons and stuff like that, because I am, absolutely, because these two bikes are very similar in a lot of ways, but at the same time, they are also so very different, and that's what makes owning both of them awesome. I mean, who knows, maybe I'll keep both of them, maybe I'll sell one, but I could just tell you this right now, I never thought that I would say, 1, I would own a Yamaha, 2, I would actually like it, and 3, I don't actually plan to sell this bike anytime soon. So, unless Yamaha all of a sudden comes out with, like, a brand new model for 2020, and I'm like, oh, shit, well, I gotta have it. But other than that, it's pretty killer, and I really do like it. And I definitely recommend for the people that had the 15 and 16 R1, they're great. But riding the 18 with the Gen 2 suspension, the auto blip that the bike desperately needed, and Yamaha just slacked so much ass on getting it. It really works. It really works a wonder and makes the bike also a joy to ride. The suspension, again, I keep repeating that, and I can't stress it enough, because that's the highlight of the M. If you didn't care about that, I would have just got the R1, and to me, it didn't really look all that different where I needed to completely upgrade. So that's why I didn't get the R1. I wanted the M. So let me go on ahead and wrap up this video. So the biggest reason, obviously, that I got this bike is because I wanted a dedicated focus track bike that I liked more, obviously, than the Ducati V4. And right now, this bike is killing it. Now, I haven't gone, like I said, all into every feature and stuff about this bike, but for the people that are watching it and know about this bike, most of you probably automatically know all the features that come with the bike, like the GPS unit and the auto tuning and all that jazz. I don't necessarily have to go into that right now, but I'm not also going to in this video. I'll do that in a separate video. So that's the biggest reason I bought this bike, is because it's different. It's not the V4, and it's what I wanted. So that's going to wrap it up here for today's video. If you guys like what you saw, make sure you subscribe. Facebook, Instagram, @TheSpeedBug, same name here as YouTube. And we will see you here for another quick review on the Speedbug channel. Deuces, guys.